You can't budge the shell. Either it opens from the other side or it's just plain stuck. The shell The shell door. The shell. You cannot see very far ahead of you in this tunnel. With any luck, you won't become hopelessly lost. You need to move close. You feel jagged rocks pointing out in the tunnels. You need to move closer. You slide your blade through a small gap in the door and pull with all your might. It is difficult handling your weapon underwater, and you realize that combat will not be an option. So if it ever comes to that, you're in big trouble. As you open the door, ample light floods into the underwater cave, and you are now able to make your way around without the glowing fish. You remount the seahorse. You think it wise to dismount before proceeding any further. Oh no, the seahorse has followed you. Let's hope it doesn't give your presence away. You are safely concealed behind the remnants of a stone archway. This is fortunate, as the king of the Sharkies is also here. Aside from his menacing appearance, he also seems to be in a very bad mood.
I do not understand it. It should work for me. Is it not written that Trident's power can only be wielded by those of goodwill? Well, is it not?
The king's aides nod fervently.
And do I not possess the greatest will in this kingdom? No one can best me in battle. My resolve is unshakable. No amount of bleeding can dissuade me from slaughtering my enemies. Does this not signify that my will is the best there is?
The Sharky King's aides seem all too willing to agree.
Then why does it not work?
You watch carefully as the Sharky King taps 4 shells in order around the arch.
It matters not. Tomorrow we invade the Mer-people's territory. For without the Trident's power, that old fool Neptune and his weakling followers will fall before our might. Goodwill. Ha! Mine is superior to all.
As he leaves, the Sharky King motions for his guards to remain. The Sharky guards are menacing in appearance, and you imagine they could do you a fair amount of damage if they were so inclined, and you believe they are. The remains of human bones litter the throne room. Your stomach churns as you realize they probably belong to the crew of the sunken vessel that you searched earlier. The ruins of once grand stone arches lie half submerged in the sand. This throne room is cluttered with the remnants of countless pillagings and plunderings. It reminds you of an underwater pirate's lair. It's obvious that the Sharky King clearly wishes to express his love of war to all his guests, aides, and victims. The remains of human bones litter. You can't. This guard would not be interested in. Having an idea, you approach your somewhat reluctant steed and slap him hard on the back. Look at him go. The guards are momentarily distracted. Now is your chance. You push on the shell. It moves back slightly into the wall. Without delay, you snatch up the trident before the guards return to their posts. It appears as if the guards are losing interest in the seahorse. You had better get out of here quickly. Oh no, the seahorse has followed you all the way back to the secret entrance. The guards are sure to discover you now. You remount this. Your seahorse glides onward, flicking its little tail faster than ever. You grip the reins tightly, glancing nervously over your shoulder every so often to check for pursuing sentries. As you make distance, your anxiety melts into relief. But it is to be short-lived. Finally, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You quickly make a dash for the exit. As you emerge, you realize you have only seconds before the guards come out after you. And even if you could outrun them, you're sure the commotion would attract the sentry's attention. Then you'd be in real trouble. Suddenly, you hear a strange voice in your head.
He of noble and goodwill, royal trident thou may wield.
You wonder what that did, if anything at all. Oh. The shark is not paying you much notice. You would do best. You had the means to protect yourself. Perhaps you did not consider yourself worthy? You can't use. The trident guides you back to Neptune's realm. You approach the king. He smiles and graciously accepts his trident from you. Then he calls everyone to attention.
To commemorate the return of my trident, and to honor King Graham's success, I hereby call for a celebration.
The celebration lasts for some time. You eat, drink, and have a merry time with many of the mer people. After a few hours, the festivities wind down, and you finally have a chance to speak with Neptune alone.
The gems of nature represent the 3 stages of life. Water gives birth to life, and thus what I have given you is the first of 3. Second is the growth gem, or air gem, for air sustains life and permits it to grow.
How might I find the growth gem?
I know only that its location is as far above the surface of the land as we are below it. Beyond that, I cannot aid you.
A smirk crosses Neptune's face momentarily.
You might say that air is not exactly my element.
You decide that the beverages consumed were to blame for that one.
And the third gem, Your Majesty?
Third is the death gem, the completion of life and the natural order of things. The Door of Destiny understands this now, as did the ancients who imprisoned the soul within. As for that gem's location, I had hoped you would have no business venturing to the castle. Kolima was once ruled from that place, but sadly her people have not seen their lord for quite some time. But if you please, I would prefer not to dwell upon this subject. You have done me a great service this day, and I thank you. Good luck, King Graham, and good speed.
You depart the underwater kingdom and head back towards the surface. What an incredible experience. You are certain you'll never forget the adventure you just had. Additionally, you have acquired one of the gems. As you resurface, you realize that the magic which allowed you to breathe underwater has now subsided. You attempt to open.
Here, this might help your sneezing.
Oh, thanks. Here, you can have this back now.
You retrieve the partially used cloth from the haystack.
Feel better?
Yeah, it's so good to be able to
You take the silver needle. It is a tiny silver needle. It reminds you of a dart. Ah, dragonfire! Oh, no, wait. It's just a mounted dragon head. Whew. It's a weather vane with the obligatory depiction of a rooster. Apparently, this interesting-looking item is a Model DX cartridge retrieval unit. Quite a useful little device in another time and place. It is a red sorcerer's hat. It is a tiny harp. How cute! Obviously, the Swiss haven't quite got the idea yet. You are inside a cute little antique shop. Old furniture. You are in. There are some vases on display in this antique shop. Some old shields are lying around in the antique shop. The woman's private living quarters.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, dear?
Hello. Do you sell anything that would aid in ascent up a mountain?
Unfortunately, I do not sell climbing equipment, or anything of that sort. This is really a specialist store.
Oh.
However, I do have an item which you might find useful. This lamp is said to contain a genie. Never tried it myself, of course. I do not believe in using magic to solve my problems. Nature has made us as we are, and we should be glad of that.
Uh-huh. How much for the lamp?
The old lady hesitates. You sense she wants more from you than your money. You hope it is not anything that you will regret.
Well, seeing as how you are a man who seems adept at taking care of himself, perhaps you could do a small favor for me?
Somehow, you knew she was going to say that.
I once owned a beautiful nightingale, quite rare around here, but the sentimental value far outweighs its monetary worth. That foul old witch Hagatha has stolen it from me, probably to use in some concoction or another.
Her nose screws up in disgust.
So, if you could be a sweetie and retrieve it for me, I will trade you. The lamp for the bird. Agreed?
Well, I will see what I can do.
Do be careful. If Hagatha should spot you out of her good eye, then you'll be in for it.
You are pleased your adventuring clothes and hat. It is a large sheet of slightly unhygienic, yet still potentially usable cloth.
If I may ask,
I appreciate all you've done, Graham, but I want to spend some quality time with my children. Now be a good boy and run some other errand.
It is a slightly luminescent blue. The bat symbol begins to glow as you approach, but subsides a little as it senses the blue light of the birth gem. However, the black glow is still present. You will need to focus the blue light directly onto it if it is to have a pronounced effect. Nothing. This item. Nothing. Many trees shade your... A healthy baby You would prefer not to place the gems of nature into the door. You have just discovered the you rap on the tree house. Throwing that away would be like discarding one. You are not the door of destiny. You saw black glow. You did not. This skull already has a glowing. As you attempt to place the birth gem into the skull, you discover that it does not fit properly. Instead, it juts out uselessly like a bulging eyeball. You take the as you You saw black glow. You take the birth gem. You try to move in a second what nature has spent thousands of This water doesn't look clean enough to drink, and it's not deep. The haystack, or rather who the librarian.
Do you have the nightingale?
Well, no.
Once you have the nightingale, bring it to me, and I will trade you for the lamp. Do you have the
Well,
Once.
You don't need it, and apparently neither does Simon. You are unable to. You need to. You need to. You can't quite. Don't throw. Keep it to yourself. It is a simple but carefully woven pendant of seagrass. A shiny opal dangles from it. That has no effect on the skull. Nothing. The gem of nature cannot be damaged. Nothing. The library. You can't. The library. The library. The library. The library. A beautiful stained glass window depicts a radiant full moon. It is certainly one of the more unique images you have seen on a church. These windows have been boarded up. You wonder if there's been some vandalism in the recent past. Surely no one would think to damage a church. Some bushes are growing near the church. It isn't opened. It isn't open. You rap on the treehouse door and wait a moment, but get no response. You attempt to You taste it. Unfortunately, you are not versed. It is a crystal ball, fairly standard equipment for those of the magical persuasion. An expensive-looking statue catches your eye. It is sculpted of white marble and appears to be the only item of any real value within the shop. You find it quite odd that this grand statue is situated amongst other ordinary items of far less value. A well-crafted lute awaits the anxious buyer. A large and incredibly hefty-looking mallet is propped up against the shelf. A small engraving on its head reads, Broggy. There are some vases. Angelina is not interested in that. Angel. Pinning that won't achieve. Pinning. There's a good. You shouldn't go that way right now. You'll interrupt the latest interpretation of Shakespeare's combined classics, Othello and Juliet, A Midsummer's Tempest on the 12th night. You need to get. There's no. There's no. There's no. You're not close. Making sure that no one is watching, you slide your thin blade under the door and draw out what appears to be a letter. It is a letter addressed to the resident of the town. You open the letter and read it. Dear applicant, please find enclosed the library membership card to which you are now entitled. The 5-year application process has concluded, and we are pleased to inform you that your status as a member of the town library is confirmed. Welcome to an exclusive group of patrons. Yours sincerely, Town Librarian. P.S. Please sign your name on the card to ensure validation. Nothing.
Will you accept this?
No,
Why not?
it has not been signed. What are you doing?
I was just...
Don't! What are you...
I was just...
Don't!
Pinning that